Hello, sunshines, and welcome to another episode of Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. My name is Shanel. I am your tour guide and your podcast host. Welcome to another episode of a little real talk on all things spiritual, divine, mystical, and all that good stuff. Today's episode came up out of a amazing session I just got out of. I did a course this past year called Soar with my amazing teacher, Lori Wilson of Inner Access 101. And yes, that is a huge shout out. She is an incredible teacher, and I'm so grateful for all the things that I've learned from her over the years. She has a ton of amazing online courses. She doesn't teach as much in person these days, but definitely go and check her out. She's not on socials. But she's an incredible soul. So go check her out. Anyways, so I did this course, and the participants from the last 3 years, we meet up on a monthly basis on Zoom to just connect, practice, just be present with each other. And it's so beautiful. It is like non-negotiable. If I can fit into my schedule, it is going to, because it is just one of those experiences that fills my cup. But it was interesting because this topic came up today as a whole in our breakout groups. And it's just something that has been really present as a theme over the last handful of days for me. So I wanted to share with you. I didn't record yesterday. I was busy dealing with some personal appointments that I needed to attend to, and wasn't in a good headspace when I was done to record, so I didn't. And actually, what I'm recording today is completely different than what I would have recorded last night. And so I'm grateful that I waited until my heart space was in the right place to share with you today. So I want to talk about, what is the story that you are telling yourself? And I know that sounds really like almost lame. Like, really? It's a story, Shanel? This is what I'm doing? I'm telling myself a story? Is it a children's bedtime story? Well, I hope not. But the reality is that our mindset is this incredible, mind-blowing thing that has the capacity and the ability to shift our entire world. It is that powerful. Plain and simple, it is that powerful. And when we look at, the story that we tell ourselves, it can play a big part into the dysfunction, the blocks, the things that are getting in our way, our stumbling points. Like, it's incredible when we actually sit back and look at where we sit and where we stand and how that all plays in. It was beautiful. Someone said, I had said something about, it's not work to me. I love what I do, and it's incredible that I get to do this thing. And it's not a have to work thing. It's I want to work thing. And I thought that was really powerful. And I didn't even, recognize that I had said something that had landed in such a different way for someone else to hear it that way. We get caught up in our own world, and sometimes we get caught up in the parts that are pulling us down instead of the parts that are lifting us up. Divine law, is the law of attraction, is where we put our focus, our energy flows to. And that is all about the story we tell ourselves. So, what is the energy that is in the story that you are telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you're broken? Are you telling yourself that you're no good? Are you telling yourself that it's imposter syndrome? Like, what are you telling yourself? What is the story that you carry, and how does it affect the rest of your life? Can you look at going to work as, something that you really want to do and you love doing? I always say, my husband always says, life is a marathon. It is not a race. It is a marathon. It is this long ass thing. So, pay attention. I've always said to my kids, do something that's really going to make you happy. That's something that you're going to enjoy doing each and every day when you go in to do it, because you're going to be doing it for a very, very long time. And yeah, don't get me wrong, you always have the option to change jobs or shift, but the reality is that whatever we choose to work in, whatever field, it's probably the field that we're going to work in for a very long time. So choose wisely. Choose something that is going to make you happy. And that doesn't always have to be the job that's going to give you the most money. The universe always shows up to provide for you in the way that you need to if you're doing something that is powerful within yourself. The other one that came up, and I always love this one, is, I don't have time for that. There's not enough time in the day. Well, is it that you really don't have enough time in the day, or are you not putting priorities on the stuff that's important and taking the priority away from things that aren't important? Family is important to me. It's a priority in the good part of my day to step up. But the reality is that if I don't make my work a priority, then I'm going to get really behind. So work is a priority. But when I sit down to work, I really sit down and get focused and get intentional in what I do so that I am getting what I need to do done, so that I can go on to things that are also going to make me happy that aren't work. It is a priority for me to take care of myself every morning and do self-care in some kind of way that sets my energy up for the day, and that is non-negotiable. I do not jump out of bed and go full tilt, because that's not helpful for my energy, and it sets me up to feel crazy and chaotic for the rest of the day. Because I choose to tell a story of peacefulness and presence, and not a story of the hustle. So can you look at your own life and look at the stories that you're telling yourself? And that's not always an easy thing to do. Mindset is a lifelong game. When you conquer one piece, all of a sudden you are working on something else. And it's ever evolving, and it just gets better and better every step of the way. And some steps are harder than others. But when we give the power to the pieces that we want to give it to, it begins to change. I was having a conversation with a girlfriend about, they were feeling uncentered and ungrounded. And I said, can you look again at your situation and choose to look at it in a different way? Can you choose instead to see the stability that exists in this moment, even though it's a temporary solution? Can you see the stability that exists in this moment versus feeding the instability? And that will shift how grounded and connected you feel. The story, the perception is huge. When we carry the perception or the label for ourselves that we are incapable of doing something, we will continue to be incapable of doing that thing until we choose to make the shift to be able to do that thing. If we choose to wallow in anxiety or fear or hatred or anger, frustration, we're going to stay in that place. Instead of acknowledging that all of those things are emotions or signs for us to acknowledge something that is happening. If anxiety is rising, instead of feeding the story of anxiety, can you feed the story of the solution? My anxiety is rising because I know I have to go out and speak in public, give a speech, or even maybe just go out in public. So how do I shift to be able to do this thing without feeling anxiety and creating more stability, safety, security, foundation, groundedness for myself? It is something that we have to work on. It is something that we have to be present in. And when we're present, it shifts things so much easier, or at least brings awareness so much easier. When we are present, we can acknowledge when a feeling or emotion comes up and deal with it or feel it, instead of going, I don't want to feel that today. Maybe anxiety is telling you that you're not prepared. And how do you prepare better next time? Maybe fear is telling you that proceed with caution. We don't have to jump 2 feet, but we can take one baby step at a time. How does that feel? The story of not enough time suddenly shifts when we choose to see time in a different way. I used to be that person that there was never enough time to get anything done. And now I have oodles of time and I get everything done that I need to do. That is a priority because I make the time to do those things, because I consider them a priority. And sometimes things that are less important get pushed to the side to make time for the things that are important. Today, I didn't want to do laundry. Do I have more clothes to wear tomorrow? Absolutely. Is it what I want to wear? Maybe not. But is it important for me to do the laundry right now to be able to have that outfit? Or is it important for me to take the time for doing exercise or sitting down and finishing a piece of work that needs to be done? Yeah, it is. So understanding that shift and the way that we look at things, we cause a lot of our own grief. We get in our own way a lot of the time. But the reality is we don't have to. When we begin to acknowledge and shift, to choose to be healthy or on a healing journey, when we choose to be present and aware and accepting, we see things in a different way. We experience things in a different way. Life becomes lighter and easier and just flows so beautifully when we stop fighting against it and instead moving with it. So I'll say it again. What is the story that you tell yourself? And maybe that's not one big story. Maybe that's a lot of little stories. But the more you're aware of the stories you tell yourself, the more you begin to become present to deal with those stories, to choose to live them or to rewrite them. What are you going to do? Thank you, lovelies. Such a joy to be able to share with you so freely, to just be able to open up and speak, and hopefully, give you something to chew on, to maybe hopefully push you in a direction of elevating your life. So grateful as always for this space and the podcast to share with you. You can always jump over and join me on socials at From the Heart and Soul. Lots of things there, so you can see the weekly oracle card reading, daily card pulls. I do intuition tests, lots of fun stuff on there. And of course, always the opportunity to work with me in person if you are in the Hamilton, Ontario, Canada area. I have a Night with Spirit coming up, a group mediumship reading on Friday, November 24th. And I love it. I am finally doing a full day retreat for Manifesting Your Dream Year. That is coming up on Sunday, December 3rd. It is a full day in-person retreat in Stony Creek. Lunch is included. We are going to manifest, heal, meditate, release, all sorts of incredible stuff. If you want to get in on that, there is limited spaces. You can check out the link in my bio for my website and get more information there. Thanks everyone for being here. If you can energy exchange with me, I'm always incredibly grateful. Like, share, comment, leave a review. This is a podcast. Leave a review. I greatly appreciate it. Check me out on one of my other social platforms or just reach out. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for being here on my spiritual journey and allowing me to be your spiritual tour guide. From my heart and soul to yours. Until the next time. Bye now.